on Instagram and YouTube. Just to give you guys an update, there is no podcast this week, but make sure to check out last week's podcast. We got some good stuff going on there, and as well as we have a piece of content this Friday. This Friday we're dropping...
Is your wheel actually round?
Is your wheel actually round? I know you guys sometimes have to question that, and this is the video to watch to give you the details on that.
Sounds straightforward.
It sounds straightforward, so make sure to check that out because there's a lot going on with your wheels that you guys might not know about, and these videos are the reason why we make them, is so we give you some details on that, because I know you guys are wondering if your wheel is actually round sometimes. But yeah, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them, and for those that I can't answer right away, make sure to DM us because I will do my best to answer them via DM, so I can do all the research and all that stuff that you guys need when it comes to any wheel questions or any questions when it comes to Konig and all that good stuff. But yeah, anything we got yet, Max, or are we still rolling in?
We're still rolling in. We got Zaracha saying yo.
Shout out to Zaracha.
What up, Zaracha?
Bro? Yo, I don't know if you guys seen. For those that follow us, we actually dropped some reels where we have my man Jacob Gittens. He's actually the technical announcer for Formula Drift. I really like that reel that we just dropped. He's basically giving you details on how to prepare when it comes to being an announcer for any events. I really found it very valuable because I also do announcing for some events when it comes to breaking and hip hop and all that stuff. And I always find it very interesting how other people prepare for those type of things because you do exude a lot of energy when it comes to that. So Jacob gave some really good details that he actually spoke with Deanda. What's his
Jared.
Jared Deanda. Yeah. And he gave him some pointers on how to preserve your energy. Also go onto the paddock and talk to some of the drivers, and they give you details on what's going on. And I just really found that very interesting. So go check those out if you haven't yet. And also check out the podcast where he goes more in depth on what he does when it comes to Formula Drift. And yeah.
Makes sense. You got to pace yourself.
Yeah, man.
We're getting old.
That's what I mean. And it's not only that, it's like I feel like energy when it comes to anything that you do, whether it be on the track, whether it be working on your car, whatever it is that you do, or you're an influencer, you know, energy needs to be preserved. You know what I mean? So I think that was a really dope reel that Max put together and kind of clipped out, and Jacob giving us details on that because it's very true, man. Energy is very, very something that you should preserve, especially when you're doing anything active with other people. And I really appreciated that.
You ever see any of the best basketball players off the court? They're always kind of,
that's what I mean.
You know, moving slow, you know, wearing flip-flops.
Yeah, and if I'm sure like some of you guys who are grid life drivers or any racing series, everybody always wants to chat and talk. And when you want to get on let's say if you're a race car driver, you want to get on the line, you want to have a clear head, you know, and sometimes it's better to sit back and just kind of like observe, get in your zone, and then get into that wheel. And that's when you kind of do the best stuff, I think.
CLT Brian says, what up, guys?
Yo, shout out to Brian in the house, always doing the damn thing. I seen your new wrap, man. Your new livery. It looks good, man.
What is it? What color is it?
He's got the red. I think he has a red on there, and
nice.
He had a couple, you know, a new pattern going on and all that good stuff.
Nice.
So shout out to Brian, man. Always doing the damn thing on the track.
Alexander asks, why are center lock wheels so popular?
Why are center lock wheels so popular? That's a good question. I think it just depends on the audience that you're, you know, when you say that is popular, it means, you know, it's really the audience that you're pertaining to. As far as myself, I'm not 100% sure why they're popular, but, you know.
Hey, when something gets popular, it gets popular.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hans Orbital, Team Konig, what up?
Shout out to Hans in the house.
What's up, Hans? Mr. Douglas asks, what's your lightest Konig wheel?
So, that's a loaded question. It really comes down to fitment.
What size?
Yeah, and what size it is. You know what I mean? Because, you know, a lot of people ask that question, and it's not really specific to the wheel. It's just really the size. So if you're getting a smaller size, obviously it's going to be lighter. You know,
it's definitely going to be a forged or flow form wheel.
Exactly.
It's Josh Cars. Any updates on Hyperspec?
So
also says, kind of annoyed with the constant delay. I ordered mine 4 months ago, and last update was they'll be out in the end of July.
Yes. So, I mean, we are in June, so we're still in that time frame with the end of July. And regardless, I just want to say I apologize for that as well. It's just a lot of things going on in the back end, but those wheels, once they come in, obviously you're already online to get them. So I'm excited that you are getting them, and we appreciate your love and support.
Is the time window still looking
Yes,
like end of
so
July?
that's the time window. We're looking at late July, some sizes dropping in, so stay tuned. And as I always say, make sure that you're checking with your distributor or dealer to give you more details on that as well, because they'll be able to give you an update live as well.
Zaracho wants to see a F3S. Want to see how concave it is, 1810 if possible. Oh, we don't have 1810. Well, we might.
Well, every profile is different.
We might have
So if he's looking
1810 and a
for-
half.
Well, as Max gets that going, he's going to show you
Yeah.
one of the wheels and all that good stuff.
And so one of the interesting things, though, as long
Yeah.
as I'm just popping in here, is so, like the one thing we did on the forged wheels that I think are inherently different than most of the other forged wheels that are out there.
I'm talking. Go for it.
No, I don't think you have to. I mean, they know somebody else is speaking. Is just that every profile, so every single part number that you'll see that's available on the website, every single one of them is. Oh, we'll switch. Hold
Guys,
on.
I'm going to introduce you to my
interesting.
boss.
Right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's one way of doing it.
Or my boy.
So basically, every single. Let me put this stupid thing on first. I'm not like Elise. I don't think I can hold it. So, all right. So every single part number that we do, every single one of them is going to have a different profile. So what we've done is we've taken these different fitments and we've tried to figure out what is going to be the most concave kind of approach that we could take to the spoke profile while we're trying to fit brakes intended for that part number. So, you know, here's the easiest way, and it's not the best thing. If you go on to the KONIG website, go to the product that you want, whether it's an F3S or an F1M, whatever it may be, you'll see that we have an area at the bottom. It actually says, I think it's forged, I think it's profiles. And if you go down there, you can actually click on each part number and it will show you a link with of a render of the actual part number. So you
that's
can
cool.
actually see what it should look like.
Nice. Is
Probably
that for
the best
every
indication.
size?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Mr. Douglas, who asked about what's the latest Koenig wheel you guys make in 15-inch.
I would say dial in.
Oh, really?
Now, keep in mind that when it comes down to, you know, there's a couple different variables that nobody wants to talk about, which is the load rating. So even on our flow form wheels, even in 15-inch, depending on whether it's 15 by 7, 15, 7.5, 15, 8, 15, 8.5, 15, 9, 15, 9.5, 15, 10, 15, 11, we make all those sizes. So it really does depend when we say 15-inch, but in the narrower sizes, 15, 7, and 15, 8, I believe dial-in is the lightest. It's also a 500 kg load rating. Now, a lot of our other wheels that we've done, especially when you start to go wider than about 8 inches or 8 inches and wider, now you start to get into things that like 550 kg. So you'll get a little bit more weight there, but you'll also have a little bit extra load. So it's just gonna work with kind of exactly what you're looking to use the wheel for.
Overmed says, I'm upset. I ordered 8 Koenig wheels and didn't get any stickers.
Okay, well, let's talk about that for a second. First thing is, if you want stickers, we got you. Go to konigwheels.com, go to the store, add them to your cart. Use the code IHEARTKONIG, all written out lowercase, and that will give you 2 free decals. I do think that there's still like a 75-cent shipping charge or something just for free, but like that will give you the 2 free decals. Now, as far as the reason you didn't get decals is because if you ordered 8 wheels, we might not have been the ones to send them to you. Because if you didn't order them on our website, which a lot of the wheels we don't send directly, it means that they came from a retailer, could come from Tie Rack. They may not have decals. They sure as heck may not know that we would give you decals. So there's that. That's why we kind of do them on our website, and that's why we have a code for 2 free ones.
Boom. CLT Brian says,
Thank you
no.
for your purchase, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a real one.
CLT Brian says, no track time for me in the near future. I just had lower back surgery yesterday.
What'd you have done?
Damn. Sorry.
I don't know if
that,
that's
Brian.
maybe you want something you want to share on Instagram,
Yeah.
but my wife had a pretty nasty back surgery a couple years ago, so I totally get it.
I wonder, does that mean you probably need to get a little bit more forgiving seats? Change out your bucket seats next season, something
man.
like that? Ah.
Maybe you had a bacchiotomy.
What is that from?
Chappelle Show.
Bacchiotomy, that's right. Johnny Ace Gaming says, I would love for you guys to come out to an event. You guys have all the mini sizes, Mini Cooper sizes.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. What kind of event?
And he says, I'm sure the mini boys would love to see him. I know he's
Anyways,
in,
I
he's
feel
in
like
Long
there's
Island.
Small people running around.
Yeah,
No, I'm
right.
just kidding.
He is in Long Island, though. I know he
Wait,
is.
yeah, let me know what event you're talking about.
Yeah, the Battle Mini. I know he's got Mark 1
Oh,
on his
I know
Mini.
what car it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
really
sure.
cool. KRM, our guy up in the Netherlands, says,
Yeah.
am I late, guys, or not?
Nah, you're good.
Dude, you know, KRM, I was thinking about you the other day, and I was thinking, a couple weeks ago, you said you ran a 5:48 at the Nürburgring? No way.
No, he didn't.
No
run
way.
He didn't say 5:48.
Didn't he? Because you were there.
I thought he said he ran a
If
7:48.
it's sevens, okay, that makes
I thought he
sense.
ran,
All
I thought
right.
he ran a 7:48.
All right, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Sid EJ6 says, what are the best wheels for my 97 Honda Civic sedan, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many choices you have, right? I would say, here's how I would say for you to kind of take the priority of figuring out what you want to do. First, figure out what size you want. You can look at a lot of different images out there. It's probably the most modified car in the world. Look at a lot of different fitments, figure out what do you want your wheel and tire to look like. As soon as you know that information, you'll be able to then use that and go see what options are available for it. You can go right onto our website, click wheels, click the filters button. You can actually input a bunch of those, things, those fitment things, and kind of see what options are available. And from there, we can have a conversation, I think, that will really work for you and get you closer to picking the right wheel.
Subali says, hello from India.
What up? India in the house.
That's cool.
Yeah.
James G says, love the Acuity podcast last week. Nice.
Yeah, no, it's good. Matt did a really good job. I haven't finished listening to it all, but Russ is a super great guy, and they're a bunch of real ones, man. You gotta appreciate the dudes that are super into the car culture, but also that are really technical and kind of able to deliver you great products.
Great shifter.
Yeah.
Great shifter. Rise VTech Mario Maroney says, hey there.
What up, man?
What's up, Mario?
How are you?
What's the next Grid Life event you're doing? See you at Lime Rock, I'm assuming? KRM says,
That's not next, is it?
you were right. No, it can't be next, but I know that's like August, I think.
Yeah.
KRM says, not 5:48, dude, 7:49. Yeah, you had it. That's okay.
Yeah.
7:49's fast. That's awesome.
Real fast.
CLT Brian, my stock seat has been back in the car for a while now. I had a L4-5 disc operation done.
Oh, crazy. My wife has a fusion from basically the bottom, like right in her what do they call it? Cervical, all the way down to like right by her. That's bottom C. It's like she's got two metal rods that kind of go the whole way. Yeah, it's completely fused.
So what does that mean? They just align the spine with alongside a metal rod to keep it straight?
There's two of them. Yeah, she's got two titanium rods.
Okay. So does
What's
that mean...
funny is we went to Hershey Park for my son with a soccer tournament, and we go one way and she went the other way because she had the bags, and they kept wanding her and they're like trying to search her, and the woman's like do you have something back here? And she's like, just my two titanium rods.
That's funny. So every time she goes to the airport, that's the whole thing.
She's never been flagged at the airport.
Oh wow.
I think they're used to more like they're not as sensitive maybe.
Yeah.
They're tuned for people that have body stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
CLT Brian says, the Corbeau seat definitely contributed to my back discomfort.
Is that right?
Damn.
That's interesting.
He said,
Very interesting.
Zaracha says, oh, for funny, I have Corbeau FX1s.
Oh,
Might switch out the bottom pads.
I'm trying to think if I had Corbeau before.
Have you? Because they look nice. I was thinking about them for the Civic.
What I had, I'm trying to think. I've had a few different seat brands. I don't think I had the Corbeau. I had what was that brand back in the day?
Brid?
No. I couldn't fit into a bridge. Look how big I am.
Well,
Those
you fit into Caleb's. Those are Brids.
Yeah,
those are nice.
Those weren't Brids.
I thought those. Oh, NRG. Those are NRG. Those are
big
nice.
wide ones.
Yeah, I like those.
Like I used to have the Sparko, the Evos, and the Evo 2s. Like, and then what was the other seat company? Cobra. I had a Cobra seat way back in the day. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Rise VTech says Midwest Festival at Gingerman this weekend.
Yeah. See, that's
Nice.
dope.
Where's Gingerman? New York?
It's Michigan.
Oh, it's all okay. Right, it's all right there. That's awesome, Mario.
Great event.
Yeah, send us some pictures or something. Tony EK24, nice EK24. When did the first Konig Ultralight come out for 4-lug?
I don't know what you mean by ultralight. Now, when you say that, I can think.
Maybe Ultragram he's talking about?
No, I don't think so. I think what he might be referring to is the Konig Helium, because I think it says ultralight on the wheel. If that's what you're thinking of, those wheels have been around forever. It's over 20 years. It was here long before I ever got here. I always say the day that we can get rid of that wheel, and then it just doesn't stop.
We got Josue AFL5. He
Yep.
says, how you doing, guys?
Chilling.
Funny, I just brought up your name, Josue, earlier today. I was just saying, yo, I wonder if we could get any videos from Josue of his sweet FL5 on the Forge wheels.
Oh, sick.
Because you do great photos, so if you got any video, send that over, because,
Nice.
yeah, the forged on his FL5 look
Yeah,
really,
no,
really
I
good.
remember the car. It
Yeah,
looks really good.
it's F3S on there.
Yeah.
CLT
Looks
Brian,
really
he says, Scott, my dad had the same fusion operation.
It's crazy, right? My wife actually had to have it twice. So she did it the first time, and she dealt with an infection for, I don't know that she'd be like, oh, thanks for sharing all my stuff this year, but we dealt with an infection that was just ongoing for 6 or 8 months. It was pretty nasty, man. I kept having to like it got to a point where she was continuously getting sutured up because they kept irrigating and closing it, and I got to a point where I was taking out the stitches.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it was nasty. So ultimately, like 6 months after she got it, they ended up having to say like, hey, like this infection is never going to go away, so we got to go in and repeat the surgery. So they went in, they had to take all the hardware out, they had to put all new hardware in, a whole bunch of different stuff. It was
Why is that?
crazy.
Is that just because the body doesn't accept the titanium?
So it wasn't titanium the first time. It was cobalt,
Oh.
or nickel or something like
That
that.
doesn't sound good.
It was a rough year.
Yeah, it
No doubt
sounds
about
like
that.
it,
But
yeah.
so hope everybody's healing, and good luck to you. Speedy recovery.
Johnny Ace Gaming says June 29th, BMW CCA, second annual BMW CCA mini day meet at Lawrence High School.
Oh, that's in the 5 towns?
I think so, yeah,
Oh,
right, because I
that's
know he's in
interesting.
Long Island. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
How many minis you guys get out there, you think?
Yeah, let us know. Would love to have you guys make it. Every year we get a little bit bigger as the new people hear about it. Very cool.
Interesting. Let me know how many minis you guys get. How big is the facility? Lawrence High School, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could probably Google that.
Yeah. CLT Brian, I want the OMP WRC seats. Well, I mean, I would think
That's the one.
WRC
Those
is
are the ones with,
probably
the,
good
with
for
all the all the headgear parts. Am I thinking of the right?
well,
seat?
with like a giant Hans device on the
It's
on
not a
the
Hans. A
sides?
Hans device would link you through the shoulders.
Okay.
It connects the neck and the shoulders so
Mhm.
that you have an even movement. That other stuff is like more like helmet bracing.
Can
kind of
you,
thing.
when you, because you have experience on the track, can you see side to side with when you are in the seat that, is on
Yeah,
the side of your helmet
if
like
it's-
that?
If it's adjusted correctly, I mean, it's meant there to prevent head bobble, or whatever.
KRM says, I'm going to have a nice evening ride with a few friends. I love his AMG CLS 63S. Have a good day, guys. It's already
too.
9:15 here.
Yeah, go ahead and get some
Nice.
rest there.
Enjoy
man.
that cruise. Overmed says, when I pick up the stickers on the website, can I pick the oil slick ones, or does it have to be the Koenig logo decal in black and white?
That's a good question. I think you can pick the oil slick ones.
I think they're a little more expensive, the oil slick
I know, but
ones.
I don't know that the code doesn't apply
Okay.
to that. You know what, man? I mean, like, if that's what it is, DM us. We'll make sure that the code works for you. Or
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
you a special code. No big deal.
Dylan Stevens, any new sizes for the Hyperspec? I have an A90 Supra fitment in 19-inch, please.
So here's the deal. No new sizes because we haven't even gotten them once yet, and it's really been just an absolute nightmare with a lot of the things that are happening. The amount of supply chain breaks we've had this year, and just all the chaos that's ensued from the result of these tariffs and people moving to different places and shipping and all the different things that we didn't think we'd have to worry about because we had already exited doing any production in China. So every time I think we're more prepared for something, especially after the pandemic. We went through a lot of this during the pandemic, and I really felt that I had a much better, clearer picture in how to plan and prevent some of these things from happening. And then somehow we ended up right back in the same spot. Listen, I apologize. I really do. I feel absolutely awful for anybody who is either waiting for these wheels or has been told a date and then we pushed it and then we had to push it. In addition to that, I also feel terrible for like the person that spoke before and said that he had ordered and hit wheels 4 months ago. I really do. I feel absolutely awful. And if it makes you, it doesn't. I was gonna say if it makes you feel any better. I also have been waiting for a set of Hyperspecs. But look, here's the thing. I'm really sorry. I don't know if I can say it enough. I promise you, I wanted those wheels here. Just more than you do. I mean, literally, my job kind of depends on it. I'm really hopeful that this wheel is going to be a great wheel, and
It's going to be a good wheel.
every once in a while you get that feeling when you develop something, you're like, this is it. This has all the things, and this wheel has all the things. So I know it's late, and I apologize.
Have faith.
Soon.
He's working hard. We'll get those wheels
soon. I promise. Wait? What was the question? Oh, so anyhow, so as far as that goes, once we get wheels in and we start getting some stuff out there, we'll eventually look at if there's some other sizes to make.
I've got a follow-up question from Zane. Actually, he asks, with the tariffs, being paused, are you guys affected?
So, all right, so let's look at that real quick, and I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but tariffs really aren't paused. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain. So the one thing that this administration has done very well and effectively is that they're talking about tariffs and things in a very general way, but there's a lot of caveats to that. In other words, if you look, you'll find that different segments and different industries have been put on all these different lists. There's list 301 if you have to come out of China. There's section 232, which has to do with aluminum and steel products, and then there's a segregation of 232, which also has to do with auto parts. And there's a bunch of other industries and other lists that are out there. Those exclusions and kind of special carve-outs that they've done, they kind of negate the tariffs, because what ends up happening is you fall on one of those lists, the reciprocal tariffs don't have anything to do anymore because the list supersedes. So for example, we're with auto parts. Every other auto part, whether it be Ford or whatever, anything that's coming from outside the US in any capacity or any derivative of is held on section 232, which means that wherever we get our stuff from, we're going to pay 25%. Nothing's changed for us, is what I'm trying to say. We had a scare yesterday because on Friday, President Trump tweeted that he was going to increase Section 232, which we are on, from all auto parts are on, from 25% to 50%. Now that was scary because last night, probably about 4 o'clock, we got an announcement from that he put out there, and they absolutely did raise it from 25 to 50%. Now a 25% increase for this industry would be catastrophic. Now with that said, it turns out that the segregation of 232, which we are now on, does not include another increase. So nothing's changed for us, but the good news is nothing's changed for us. In other words, whatever we've already done is done. Right now we have no issues maintaining that. So there hasn't been a pause for automotive, is what I'm saying.
Sounds like something new is happening every day.
That it is.
We got to just decipher it.
I agree. You got to figure out the code.
Matt Candy, sorry to make you wait there, Matt. He's got a good question. I'm looking for some 18.8.5 or 18.9.5 staggered setup for a 95 Skyline GTST. Need plus 20 or plus 35 in the front and plus 10 or 20 in the rear.
Okay.
Finding it seemingly difficult to find wheels that match in this 5 and 4.5 bolt pattern.
Okay. Go back to the size you want somewhere in the front.
He wants a 18.8.5 up front and a 18.9.5 in the rear.
I think you can run pretty much most of the stuff that we have out there. What you're going to probably look for is like an 18.8.5, 35 in the front, 18.9.5, 35 in the rear. You could go a little bit lower if you wanted to go 25. Just remember, you're starting to get into that territory where you're going to end up in one of those situations where you got to be careful about the tire, because the GTST or GTT?
GTST. And
So
in the rear, he's actually saying anywhere between a positive 10 or a minus 20.
Yeah, unless you have a
range
wide body
there,
kit, if you're talking about a GTST, so that's going to be like an R32. You're already running out of room in that fender well. So that's too aggressive, in my opinion. If you'd like to have some more help, we can help you with that. but you're going to have to, message us because there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to come from that. A standard fit, you can do an 8.5, 35. You can do a 9.5 around a 35. You want to be aggressive, you can go 9.5, 25. But what you're talking about is something that's going to be way wider than the stock quarters, which means either you have a wide body quarter situation going on, or you've done flares, or you're doing something wild there, but it's not from the stock body car.
Johnny Ace Gaming with the Battle Mini says, last year's event we had about 75 minis spanning all generations. It was hard to keep count because of the fact that it fell on the same day as Panda Fest. What's Panda Fest?
So Panda Fest was that thing when they were doing with which club
Toyota?
Was it? The
Yaris?
I think it was the club that do the sevens. If I'm right there.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. Right now. But
Yeah,
anyhow,
okay.
Keep going.
Let's see. We got Unity, GRC, It's Josh Cars. Are you here? And then It's Josh Cars says, yeah, as always. Both of you, we appreciate both of you.
What's up, guys?
Cornfed Prius says, sending much love from Cali.
What up?
Cornfed Prius. I'd love to know the
Cali.
name.
Cali.
I'd love to know the story behind that name.
Cornfed.
Cornfed Prius?
E85.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So it must be a pretty
Ethanol.
nice little Prius. It says, been looking for a 5 and 100 17.9 plus 40 in race bronze. Is it still back ordered?
You have to give me a specific wheel, and we'd have to look. There's a lot of things on back order. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would say Tire Rack probably has the most amount of wheels in stock right now. So if you're looking for them, give Tire Rack a jingle and see if they have them. In addition to that, we do have some wheels in stock. I think
They're asking about
Air Force
hypergrams specifically.
Yeah, I don't know. Hypergrams might be on back order, but we have a lot of coming in. I was just looking at some of the receiving reports, and I'm looking at stuff that is really coming in throughout this entire month. So if you want, just send us a DM and tell us the part number. Say, hey, you got an ETA.
All right, lightning round. We'll get 3-4 more questions here, and then Scott can go back to trying to get our wheels. Blueberry says, sorry I was late, guys. How you doing? What's up, Blueberry?
What's up, man?
We got Cornfed Prius, yep, hypergrams. We got Mitch saying, what kind of suspension adjustment would be needed going to a lighter wheel, say 53 pounds per corner versus hypergrams with the same tire weighing about 45 pounds?
So this is a super difficult question for me to answer as a wheel person. I mean, the truth of the matter is, generally, I would say that the wheel weight there isn't going to affect your suspension settings, and if you're going to want to dial back in the car, it's going to be according to your feel, so it's going to be very dependent on kind of what you're actually seeing through the steering wheel. I know that there's probably a really good technical answer to when you remove, unsprung weight, this is whatever. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think there's really going to be much of a difference at all changing the weight. I think you'll feel the car have a better turn in. I think you'll feel the car be a little bit more responsiveness. It'll feel a little throwy if you're really in tune to that kind of thing. But I don't think you're going to have to go through and really, change your suspension settings.
Adrian asks, what's the best way to put 12-inch wheels on my EK Civic? Nice. Nice.
Another car.
You might be able to. He might.
If you want to put 18 by 12s on an EK Civic, you're going to have to do one of the wide body front ends.
Yeah.
And you're definitely going to have to do something really custom. You're going to have to do custom wide over quarters and stuff like that. I mean, just keep in mind that even some of the fast race guys that are out there, they're running 1812s in the front to run a 305 tire. They've made accommodations in the wheel wells. They've done all that stuff. And even in the rear, most of them are running 18.5. So,
Check out our YouTube channel, because we just did on the Integra recently. Well, it was last season. But he's running an 1811, I think, in the front. Maybe 1812.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're
Luke
still
Paglione.
You're talking about something that still has to do with a ton of modification.
Oh, yeah.
So, do your homework there. It's going to require some work.
Cornfed Prius says, what's the best way to get in touch with your marketing team?
You can go a couple different ways. You can email us at mail@konigwheels.com. You can go ahead and send us an email to marketing@konigwheels.com. You can send us a DM. You can go onto our website and send a message. You can make a phone call. See, we try to be accessible here. You can send us a DM. We got you covered. Just send it.
Christina J asks, are you guys going to be at FDNJ with wheels for me to look at?
No. There is a question whether some of us will be going to FDNJ. I don't think I'm going to make it out to FDNJ, but I am going to try to make it out to Pro Bro Down right after that. That's
Is that the same
following
weekend? Oh.
It's the following weekend, yeah. What wheel are you looking to see? Maybe we already have somebody that has one in the paddock or something.
JX Chris, would Koenig ever look towards making motorcycle wheels?
It's an interesting question. We had that question come up a couple years ago. We had a supplier that actually wanted us to make some wheels for them, and they do motorcycle and power sports stuff too. It's inherently a whole different animal. So I would say at this juncture, I don't see us doing it. It's just a whole different thing. It's got the integrated bearings and the whole thing, and it's not...
Plus, do people even really do aftermarket wheels and
Absolutely.
motorcycle? They do? Okay.
100%.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
cool. Let's see. And I think we're good to go.
All right, cool.
Oh, wait, one more for you.
Sure.
Adria says, yo, big shout out to my Hexaform wheels. They're amazing.
Nice, man.
Nice.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Listen, we love hearing good stories about the wheels and all that good stuff, so we appreciate it. Let's see. That's it for this one, I guess. We're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Piece of Content coming up on Friday, as we do every Friday on our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, go get subscribed, KONIG WHEELS USA. And don't forget the podcast is coming up soon, real soon.
Well, actually, it was this week is just podcast
Oh, this
reels.
is an off week, right.
Yeah, just reels for the
Right.
podcast.
So next week we will have our podcast. We went to the every other week thing just to try to make sure we can kind of get some guests in there and do some other things. Make sure you just keep an eye out for the social element there. And for those off-road people that might still be left in the chat, we're getting ready to launch our new Mamba off-road website, so look out for that. That's coming shortly.
Nice.
So that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Anyhow, take care of yourself. We'll catch you back here next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern.